This is Daf Yom Yerushalmi Pesachim. In the Orthodox edition, we're Daf Nun Vav Amrav. We're up the Gemara, which is 5 lines down. It's the Gemara of Locha Gimel. Locha Gimel was starting on the base. We're up to the Gemara, and that in the Vilna is on Daf Mem Ches Amrav, the Gemara of Locha Gimel, and our Mishnah had said, if the Sacham Shemen Shel Truma, if you anoint it, and I inappropriately, yesterday I used the word marinated, I believe, which that is exactly what the Gemara is going to say. That's not the Pshat of the Mishnah. So, Sacham Shemen Shel Truma, it says Gemara that Loma El Sacho. It's only enough either to rinse off the bird or to peel it. If you did sicha, as Kormei says, which is the minimum amount of the Shemen Shel Truma was placed on the Korban Pesach. But if it was dunked, meaning marinated, was immersed in it, then as Kormei says, Kula b'shemen, also the bola harbe, it absorbs a lot, and therefore there's no way to get out that oil. But the Gemara does bring down a story which may or not contradict that. A certain individual cooked a tanigolas, a bird with shemen sreifa, which is shemen of truma tameo, which of course you have to burn. Asa shalai bisna came ask bisna what to do. Amarle ozo shoka. So many different interpretations of this line. Ozo shoka according to Moshe, according to means never bishula. Bishul went away. Klomar Asur, meaning it's awesome. The Pnei Moshe has a much different shot. He says, Shoka Harbe b'mayim, go cook a lot of water. Actually, flew to Hashem and save men to Kabbalah Kachpoto. Just like absorb Shemen Sreifa. If you cook it, then the Shemen Sreifa will emerge from it, and it will become mutter. And of course, this is a very difficult thing to say because most Mefarshim say there is no such thing as Hagolah, kashering by food. My cousin brings down that the Rashba says that the Rashba in Chulin Daf Kuf Ches is when it says that you can't get out a bliya in food by Hagolah, but maybe perhaps there is some level of shlika that does work, and that's what it means there. Azar Shol, he said, go cook it to an extraordinary extent, and maybe would get it out. The other Mefarshim, the Mashbiach and the Mechal Maim, both Mechal Hamayim, say about where you use the Shemen Sreifa not on the bird itself, but as the fuel in lieu of wood. And the question was, what about Hanoah from Truma? So in that, Mechal Maim says, that's why he told him to go and cook it again so he gets no Hanoah from the Truma. Because he's not getting Hanoah from the Truma that way, which would be also because he is actually getting his Hanoah from the second time around cooking it. So it's a bit difficult, but so the other pshatim. My cousin brings down from the base Yitzchak that it's about Truma Bizman Hazeh, which is Bata Barov. And therefore, if he cooks it again, perhaps it's Bata Barov. Questions whether what about Ein Bal Yisrael Chatchila? Maybe it's not considered to be so much Isser here because Shemen Sreifa, the Kohen can use it. I don't know, but that would perhaps be the way to understand. Another way to understand it, that it's on account of bittul. Again, he's mevatel, not magil. He's not a moving Isser, but he's being mevatel Isser. Okay, halacha dalid. Chamisha dvarim boim betuma. The 5 things which come in tuma, but they may not be eaten in tuma. In other words, you bring the korban, but you can't eat it. Ha'omer, korban ha'omer, which is brought on Sunday Pesach. Shtei lechem, which is brought on Shavuos. Lechem ha'parim, which is brought on a weekly basis. V'zivchei shamei tzibur. This is the zivchei shamei tzibur, would seem to be the shlamim which are brought with the shtei lechem. I was going to ask, is that the same thing as shtei lechem then? Sir Rosh Chodashim, the scene which are brought Rosh Chodesh, the Korban that says, even though most of these things, the reason why the Doche Tuma is because it says B'Moado, and Masir Rosh Chodesh does not say Moado, can't sleep. Ela tasul Hashem moadechem Rosh Chodesh Nami Kimoed Dachian Shabbos. It says they since actually you were talking about not just Shabbos, you were talking about Tumah, so it's a little bit probably Korban should have said Tumah. I doubt that the article was going to fix that, but the point is that even though it doesn't say Moadel, but it says Moadechem by all Yom Tovim and Rosh Chodesh Tumah, so therefore it's Decha Tumah as well. So he does not change it. The one exception to that rule is HaPesach Sheba B'Tumah, HaPesach which comes under circumstances of Tumah. When you do bring a korban and Pesach B'Tumah, Nechal B'Tumah. It is eaten also B'Tumah. Shloba Mitchiloso El Lachila. Because the ikar of korban Pesach is the eating of the korban Pesach. So therefore, when in the event the korban Pesach is B'Tzibor, Tumah B'Tzibor, you also have to eat it B'Tumah as well. Okay, by the way, the Pnei Moshe does say directly about Rosh Chodesh, that's about Tumah, not Shabbos. But say Plitas Hakumus on the part of Korban Eidah. Article doesn't fix it. Okay, so it says Gemara. V'chol Korban Tzibur Eino B'ayim B'Tumah. Why the only 5? What about the other Korban Tzibur? Don't come B'Tumah. They'll come B'Tumah, don't they? So it's going to tell us that our mission is going to tell us that these korbanos, even though they come b'tumah, they're not eaten b'tumah. In other words, other korbanos to tzibur they don't get eaten. They're olos. So therefore, it's not a chiddush. But these are korbanos, there is food to eat, and therefore I might think there is part of the korban to eat, and therefore I might think they're eaten. Therefore, it's coming to tell us that even though there's a component which is edible, they're not eaten except the korban pesach. Okay, so now the Gemara asks, "Ben kaman melech mikar, ben kaman merkavasim mikar." The Korban brings down some machlekes and menachos or bikim Rabbi Shimon ben Nanos, whether by the korban by the shtei lechem the bread is primary, or the that's a Rikiva, or the lambs are primary. That's a Shimon ben Nanos. So our Mishnah had said separately, the shtei lechem and zivchei sham and tzibur, which are the kvasim which come with the shtei lechem. Why enumerate them separately and come up with 5? Enumerate one or the other and come up with 4. Now, it's a little bit difficult. As my cousin points out in the Offer Yerushalmi, he says, okay, so what? It's still 5 because there are 5 things which are not eaten. He blabs on that. It's a good question. He says that as he says, since what do you mean? These are 5 things which are not eaten b'tumah. It says b'tzorchim. Question. But so the point is that, however, obviously Gemara feels no, since one of them is ikar and one is tafel, so therefore focus on the ikar. There only should be 4 things. So the Gemara says the answers that it doesn't say. Well, the 5 things aren't eaten, but it's rather it says. It sticks to this idea that one of them is ikar, but one to cover all bases. Okay, so let's see inside. Why count 4? Tanya chash the time was chash for both Rabbi Akiva and Shimon ben Anos, and the virgin Shitas is what's primary, and therefore it needs a chamisha. Therefore it says 5. Okay, then the Gemara says, "Each tani. There's a tana who holds kulam and Pesach, all learned for Korban Pesach. Each time Tana kol echad b'echad learn common. All one says all learn mean koimai. They learn individually. Ma'am akulam l'mein min Pesach. The Hillel says all learn from Pesach. Ma'amodah shneim Pesach derechas atuma. Just the Mardo it says by Pesach is derechas atuma. Amodah shneim akulam derechas atuma. So the Mardo which says by all of them is derechas atuma. Now, the Chaim points out this is lav dafka, because if that's the case, the next opinion we have is very similar to this opinion. It's basically both Gzera Shabbos. So he says it's not that it says more than them, but rather it says that all Kabbalah says Mana Kavua. Even though it says by all of them more, though we don't really need no more though. But the second opinion holds we do need a more though. So the Mana Maklech V'Echolom Mikoma Minayin Lei. The one says each one learns in Mikoma. How does he know it? V'Asik Hadar Tani. It's going like. it's going like that, which learned in the Bryce of Baby Omer. Matamar the Ben Moshe's Modeh Hashem. That's in Parshas Emor. As we're going to see that story about by the Omer Shtei Alechem, right? So we'll come back to that in a minute. You only know Pesach and Tomei Derech Shabbos. And Reb Chaim explains Pesach and Tomei they're Chomer. Pesach is Chomer because Chayav Kares. Tomei is Chomer because it is Tadir. It's constant. So I can't learn out from there to other. Or could not say, well, they're all Korban Tzibur, and therefore they should and Zman Kavua, and therefore everything else which is similar to them should be Derech because they're unique, they're special. So therefore, it says by that Moado, and they're special. How do we know Sharko Kriminal Tzibur Minayin? I know the Kriminal as well. So for the fact that it says Moado by the other ones, we can learn out. The first story about Musafin in my Midbar Chav Tes, Pashas Pinchas. Eilat Tasu Hashem Moadechem. That and so we know the Musafim says Moadechem. Okay, so they're Doicha Shabbos as well. Okay, and Tumah. Omer Korevi Mo Shtei Lem Korevi Mo Lo Shamanu Orev and the Omer which is and the lamb which is brought with it. The Shtei Lechem and the two lambs which are brought with them. I don't know from the Parsha Musafim because they're not there. When it says in Parshas Emor, Moshe's Modeh Hashem Yisrael. Covenant Chova Shulia Bobatov. So it also says Mardo, and therefore they also come to Tumah as well. Okay, and we also had in the Mishnah, of course, the Korban that said that by Rosh Chodesh, even though it doesn't say Moadechem, it's also called the Moed, so it's also Docha Shabbos and Tumah. Okay, so Gemara asks if that's the case, Shem Shab, so fine, very nice derivations. Now all of them say either could learn out from all their Korban Sibor Shukavul and Zman, the way the first opinion, or because they're all Korban Sibur Shukavul and Zman, or a second opinion because there's Moado, and each Moado independently teaches us is the same Moado as Pesach. But that's cake. Shem Boim Batuma Kach Yuna Cholim Batuma. Why not eating Batuma like the Korban Pesach? Right. So the Gemara said Zez Kasu. It's Zez Kasu. Abab Basar Asher Yiga B'Chol Tamei Lo Yachel. Meat which comes Tamei, you don't eat it. So it's not the Tumah. Yomer Pesach came. Okay, if that's the case, let's say the Pesach came. I don't eat it. If it comes Tamei, you can't eat it. So Shani Shlabo Mitchiloso El Rachila. The Korban Pesach is different because it only came to begin with to be eaten. The whole mitzvah of Korban Pesach is for Achila. As the Korban says, Shani Pesach Shaloba El Achila Kshenitstaba mitzvah Korban Pesach Lachila Nstaba. So you eat Ish Lefi Ochlo. Okay, so therefore it's just unique, and therefore that one is eaten Batuma, even though the other ones are not eaten Batuma. And therefore we follow through with Halacha Hey. Need my boss if you have a Korban Pesach and it's the boss became tummy and the chaylev is still extant, the imurim, ain't as like a Saddam. You can't do speak as Saddam, but that specific Korban Pesach because Korban Pesach comes from Achila. It's because not imurim, unlike other korbanos. So if all you have left is the chaylev, you're not so like as that. Need more chaylev. Who are basar kaim? If it's the other way around, the chaylev became tummy, the imurim became tummy. Basar is still extant, so because Saddam they can do speak as Saddam. Mikdashim ain't okay. My Mikdashim is the opposite, but not the opposite. It's not by Mikdashim. It's not like that. Apush need my boss or Chaylev kaim. So is them there. Either one works. So therefore, whether the Chaylev is extant, even though the boss is tummy, or the boss is extant, even though the Chaylev is tummy, both Yimur and Achila are ikorim, and therefore, as long as one of them extant, you can choose because of that. But by Pesach, the boss has to be extant. Okay, so the Gemara says, "Udlok Rabbi Nosson." That's like that, not Rabbi Nosson. Rabbi Nosson, Omar Yotzim Zvika B'lo Achila. You Yotze by even by Korban Pesach, but Zvika without Achila. My timer, why? The Shachtu so Kolka that's so Bein Arbaim. Says they should check it, not Osom or Oson, plural. It says it. Kolka so Bein Arbaim. Oso, it says Oso here, but I don't know if most anything actually we just said Oso, but it's used here interchangeably. Or probably somebody changes it. Change in line before. Line before. As the Shnei says Oso, Fus something, I don't know, Fus Vav, whatever it is. I don't remember what that is. Oh, so so yes, the line before has to be changed. So the dig is again. Also, Pesach echad. Even though there's one korban Pesach for everybody, the royal yetzi with one zvika. After Gesayis kol echad echad. If you have one korban Pesach, the whole klai so is basa all going to get a Gesayis. Obviously not. So there must be no din achila by korban Pesach. Everybody could be mono. Everybody could be subscribed to one korban Pesach on Rabbi Nosson, and the yetzi with that one korban Pesach. So it must be that achila is not essential, and therefore our Mishnah is like, which requires that the achila is not like Rabbi Nosson, and he doesn't hold. The Rabbanan don't hold of this drasha of Shachtu also. Okay, now the Gemara says about other kachim. Back to other kachim. Pshita da milsa. This is obvious. Nitma basar, if the meat becomes tamei by imur kayame and imur the chalavim and evarim which are brought out of the mizbech are exin. Zorik sam al imurim zorik adam and imurim which go to the mizbech. Nitma imurim abasar kaim. The imurim became tamei and the basar is exin. Zorik adam abasar which is can be eaten. Nitma basar of the imurim. What if the meat became tamei and the imurim became lost? What do we do then? So there are. In this case, imurim, but you can't find them. They're lost. But they're somewhere. So they got misplaced. So what's the status here? Rabbi Shimon said, I'll bring you right from this. Hain kaima. The Pnei Moshe changed gears at the Koimetz, and it seems that they have to do that. Let's see what Chaim does. No, he does not, actually. Reb Chaim and the article both go with the gear. They change the gears, but not from kaima to Koimetz, from kaima to kamaisa. Referencing the previous Mishnah, but we're going to go with the Pnei Moshe. Let's see Pnei Moshe. I'm assuming he ain't Koimetz. Cancel Chamar. Sivetus Ksiv Kaima v'Chaser Aydei Tos. It's a mistake. Chaser Aydei Tos. Klomar. When we say, "V'rei zeh komet shel mincha." Shemata Hashem l'achila. Koimetz allows whatever's left over to be eaten by the Kohanim. Come on, and we hold shiraim shechassid ben kamitza l'aktora. If shiraim get missing between the kamitza and aktora of the koimetz, makta koimetz aleim. You makta the koimetz upon them. Kamina beperakam nochas avi base. Parei kan shiraim. They're not there anymore. Chilo kamisha nitmar basav of the murimu. So isn't it exactly like where the meat came tummy and you lost the murim, the avdu and chasus eating the same thing. Nevertheless, at omer kometz, nevertheless you say the kometz, klomar shemaktir kometz, maktir kometz, v'hapi shechasur shirayim. And here, even though you like the shirayim, afil nitmar basar, v'enkai murim, even though his basar is tummy and they're no murim, so exam shivadus because of them, just like that kometz. Let's read the full statement. Omer Rishim ayin kometz. Lo commissionate my boss or the murim who it's the similar case at Omer Koimetz. It says you can be Koimetz. In other words, you can put the Koimetz as back. Hafolazarik. Here too, you can do Zvika. So it says Omer Rebbe in the Vilna, and all the Farshim say it's not Rebbe, it's Moira, it's Rabbi Mona. He says no riot. He put there because it could be that the Koimetz is different. That's like Rabbi Lezer. Lezer Afa Pisha ain't Shirayim Yesh Koimetz. Even though there's no Shirayim, there still is a Koimetz, and we don't. Perhaps we hold there have to be Shirayim somewhere, and therefore, if there's Shirayim Shechasu, doesn't mean they're all gone. There's still some left. So, but according to so that we hold there have to be some left, perhaps where the Basar tummy and the Murim are lost. Can't do it. Okay, somewhere it doesn't resolve the question, leaves the question difficult. What's the case of is Avdu can do it's a case where Avdu Yimurim can do this because Adam by regular carbon, and could be only according to Rabbi Lezer you could do it, but the according to Yeshua who argues at him and holds that all the Shiraim is gone, can't do it, can't do any speaker. And even by chasru, there's a whole discussion there whether it's only because it's left. If it's the zrika said the koimetz is effective to make it a carbon kosher, or it only makes it royal to be a pigul. But without getting into that right now, according to Bishul, could be that of the Murim is like we're missing all the Shiraim, and no good. It's not going to work. Okay, the Pnei Moshe learns that the Yesh B'Kumitz Ba B'Tuma, that is one statement. And then the word Uvdin it goes the next time, Uvdin Hech Avida. But we're going to learn this like the Korban Eda. And that Ba B'Tumas Uvdin is a new issue. And we're actually according to the Mechal HaMayim. So the sugya stops. Afterwards, Afal Pishain Shiraim, Yesh Klemetz, that's Rabbi Lezer, and Kuri Bishul could be different, period. And then new sugya starts, Baba Tumas Uvdin. We're going to, as I said, we're going to learn a separate thing, and that's already on Amud Aleph, Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. So we'll stop here for today.